Good morning. I've become a runner. Running isn't something I'd ever thought I would get into. Growing up, I've always hated cardio. I mean, hated cardio. But it's also become one of the things that I've always wanted to get better at. I mean, like, if I'm playing a sport, if I'm playing soccer, basketball, football, whatever, I could run because there's like, I've always felt there was purpose to it. But if I'm just running on a treadmill or just outside, I'm just like, why are my legs still moving? Like, after a while, I'm just like, all right, I'm over it. But not too long ago, I ran 2 miles in a row for the first time in my life. And I'm really proud of that. So for about 2 to 3 weeks now, it's been every other day where I'm running a couple miles just straight. And I started to see progress. One of my goals has always been to run a sub 10 mile, but I would always give in to feeling tired too soon and just, walk and just not care and just kind of like, all right, I just gotta finish at this point, which is important too. Like, you have to kind of go through that, especially if you're running for the first time. You have to go through that point of just like, I'm gonna do it just so I can finish. And that's when I began to realize running and leadership aren't that far off from each other. They're incredibly related. I've also been really sore now, especially my right calf. I actually got some new running shoes, which has made it feel better. Yeah, really good running shoes. They were pretty pricey, but I actually really enjoy them. They're actually really comfortable to run in. And I ran in the rain for the first time the other day. I always was like when I was younger, I'd always see people run in the rain, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't get it. I'll never be like you. It just doesn't make sense. But I get it. It was just something that you're committed to, and you say you do it, and you do it. It wasn't like pouring rain, but it was definitely raining enough that, my hoodie was wet. So what are those things that it's taught me so far? How it's related? Well, the first is, like many things, you learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Running teaches you how to keep moving while your mind says stop. And as leaders, we constantly face that kind of discomfort. The difficult conversations, the uncertainty, the criticism you get. Oh my gosh, the criticism. Where people don't believe in you, you start to kind of have imposter syndrome and second guess yourself. The decision making without having full clarity, like having to make a decision, having to find the clarity to trust in what you're gonna decide. And the ability to stay calm while everyone else is panicking. All of that is uncomfortable. And when you're running, man, it's just a constant state of not being comfortable, just having to persevere and push through. So that's the first thing. Second is you can't outsource the miles, meaning you can't have someone else do the leadership for you. It has to come from you. And in the same way with running, nobody can run the pace for you. Nobody can run it for you. Nobody can do the 5K or the marathon for you. You're the one that has to do it. You can have people that support you for sure. You can have people that mentor you and encourage you. But eventually you have to be the one to make the decision, to take the responsibility and carry that weight. And with running, because it's just you, even if you're running with other people, you're still the one carrying that and have to finish. Nobody can do that for you. I mean, unless, someone picks you up and gives you a piggyback ride, but then you're not doing it. The other is I'm working on my form. And form matters more than you think. And again, first time running, so trying to figure out how to run correctly, breathe correctly, all of that stuff is difficult. And anyone can look disciplined when motivated, but man, when you get tired, that's when it gets hard to look disciplined. And runners know fatigue exposes the mechanics, the ways in which you're actually making everything happen, the way you're moving your legs, keeping your body upright, foot mechanics, all these things that I still need to learn. And leadership is similar. The stress that you experience as a leader reveals patience, it exposes the level of patience you have, the emotional control, integrity, humility, communication habits. The pressure doesn't create the character. I mean, it helps build it, but it absolutely reveals it at first. And so with that, leadership is pacing and not sprinting. Runners know if you just start full blast immediately, you'll burn out quick. And it's the same with leaders. People try to lead with grave intensity and they try to go into it as if they automatically have everyone's respect. You need to earn it. You need to earn everyone's respect. You need to earn everyone's trust. Just because you're a manager, that doesn't mean people will want to willingly and happily follow you and all that stuff. So you have to pace yourself. You have to show up consistently. You have to be you always. You got to have a rhythm, and you got to know when to push versus when to conserve your energy. And it's the same parallel with running. Got to pace yourself. I remember watching this guy say, he gave this advice, an 82-year-old guy running a great world race. If you haven't heard about it, it's crazy. It's this, 7 marathons, 7 continents in 1 week, which is nuts. Michelle Kerr did it. And she asked this 83-year-old or 82-year-old guy who did it, who's done it 4 times already, for advice about running. And he said, you start slow and you go even slower. So in my mind, the way that I took that is you build up to a point where your slow becomes your fastest, and you start there, but it's still slow. It's still maintainable for you. And you're able to slow down because you're going to exhaust yourself later on. So I don't know. But leadership's the same way. You just got to figure out this rhythm, figure out this way where you start slow, understand what you're doing, understand the company that you're in, understand your people. Start off slow and then just go a little slower and just be consistent. Don't surprise people. Don't come up with random rules and all that. Just create a rhythm. The other thing too is you don't always see progress immediately. I thought, like by the second day I'd do better, but I think physically I did better, but it still didn't feel better. Because I think I had better timing, but man, did it suck still, But your body adapts slowly. And leadership works the same. The trust, the culture, the confidence, and the influence are built over time. They're built through repeated actions that may not show results immediately. And again, it goes back to kind of like earning that trust. One good conversation rarely changes the team, because what happens is you start to have a narrative about yourself, right? Like let's say someone is always late. For them to change that narrative about themselves will take hundreds of them being on time. And even then, they'll still be known as the individual that's always late, even though they've been on time the past hundreds of times, because you start to create a narrative. So in order to change said narrative, you have to keep at it and just be consistent. So that one good conversation you have, that's a good step in the right direction. But remember, you need hundreds of good conversations and over years before people start to go, oh yeah, that's my leader. That's who I want to follow. I see the vision and I'm all in. I'm all into what the plan is. The other thing, comparison can destroy. Comparison can destroy the runner and a leader. When you start to compare yourself to the person ahead, you start to compare the pace, the mileage, the physique, you start to just lose focus because you start to think, why am I not there? I'm not good enough. And I'm guilty of this. My mentor, as I see how he leads, how he communicates, and how he does all these things, I go, man, I want to be able to be just like that. And I try to figure out how to make it my own, but I'm constantly comparing myself, which I think on some level it's a good thing to compare yourself, because, you always want to try to improve yourself, which is good. But you don't want to compare yourself in a way that's defeating. You want to still be proud of yourself. You want to still be proud of your journey. So it's important to compare yourself most of the time to yourself and be inspired by others. So the other runners that have more mileage, have a better physique and all that stuff, be inspired by them. Don't compare yourself to them. The person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Were you better than the person you were yesterday? That's the thing with a leader. And you'll have setbacks, and that's okay. But the goal is seeing if you were better than the person you were yesterday, because every day that you're better, you're gonna look back and go, man, I was that person before. I'm now this person today. And that person today is right in line with that last person that you were quote unquote jealous of or that you were inspired by. And before you know it, you'll be able to run that 5K, the marathon or whatever, because those things don't happen by accident. Those things happen when the small discipline compounds, It's built through the ordinary runs, the boring ones that nobody sees, that nobody applauds. Side note, join a running club. That helps, because I actually did get an applaud for finishing a 2-mile run that one time. And that feels good every time, because you have a community of people that are proud of you, that are there waiting for you, that are making sure that you finish. So anyways, I digress. When you're by yourself or whatever, nobody is applauding you, It's just, you got to show up every day. And leadership is usually not one giant heroic moment either. It's showing up on time. It's following through. It's staying composed. It's listening well. It's preparing. It's being dependable. It's doing all these boring things, the boring repetitions that become the trust. When you just keep going, you just keep it moving. Ooh. Recovery is part of the growth. As you can see, is what I'm doing now. I am stretching because I'm sore. My calf is sore. My body is sore. But recovery is part of growth. When you rest, it's not a weakness. It's actually really good to rest because your muscles can grow during that time. It's part of the performance. Because if you don't rest, you might actually perform poorly if your body's exhausted. Another side tangent, get yourself a fitness watch. That really helps, especially one that tries to monitor or does its best to monitor your body, and you're able to really set it to figure out what your body's feeling. That also helps because it'll let you know, you're overreaching. You need to, rest a little bit. It'll tell you too, rest for like the next 16 hours or whatever. And leadership's the same. When you are just on go, 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 and you don't take a moment to sleep, set boundaries, you don't take a moment to reflect, have some type of emotional recovery, you essentially start to lead yourself towards poor judgment and burnout. So you need to rest. You need to actually take a breather so that you can be more sound and you can be more present for the people that you lead, whether that's your employees, whether that's your family, whether that's your friends, wherever that lands for you. So it's kind of what I'm doing now. And I thought I'd kind of share all of this with you as I've been learning more about me and leadership, and now that I've taken up running. I'm a runner. I know it's just 2 miles. I'm doing a 5K soon. I'm excited about that. But golly, I'm a runner. It's just not something I'd ever thought I'd say. So I'm just really proud of myself. And my dad had passed many years ago. He ended up getting sick towards his later years in life. And I think of him because I got into, I remember when I was doing personal training for the first time, I got into that because I wanted to help my dad. I wanted to help people like my dad. My dad was sick, and I learned that he could have potentially reversed what he was going through. Things could have gone better for him if diet was being considered, if he was working out more. And when I found that out, I was like, oh man, people need to know about how diet and exercising can actually heal your body. But I bring him up anyways because I wish I could tell him that I'm a runner. And I think he'd be really proud of me. So I'm really excited about that. Anyways, you are the algorithm. What you choose to feed your brain is what grows. So feed it well. See you next time.